Good morning students, welcome back to Leela's tutorial. So today we will discuss about animal cloning. Cloning is a process of generating a genetically similar copies of cells or animals. If it is an cloning of animal, we call it as animal cloning. So if you are producing or generating genetically identical copy of a cell, we call as cell cloning. If you are producing genetically identical copy of an organism or the animal, you call it as animal clone. So here let us see, the first cloned animal is dolly. So what is the technique used to produce that dolly? It was SCNT technique, that is somatic cell nuclear transfer technique, which we have discussed in the previous class. So go through that video in order to know about the complete procedure of that technique. Right? And who is the father of animal cloning? It is Ian Wilmot. He is considered as father of animal cloning. So let us see what are the other animals which are produced using these cloning techniques. The India's first cloned Gir cow is Ganga. Right? Which institute has produced? It is National Dairy Research Institute in Karnal, that is Haryana. Right? So here this was successfully produced cow which was named as Ganga. Right? And again, second, the India's first buffalo clone is Samrupa. Right? It is not only the India's first buffalo clone, but also it is first in the world buffalo cloning. Okay? Then here why you have to go for the animal cloning? When you have so many strategies or reproductive strategies such as natural process or in vitro fertilization technique and all. So here what is the reason? In order to produce increased quantity of milk, increased meat production and also increase the reproduction in the animals. Okay, so let us see what are the advantages and disadvantages of this cloning technique. First, coming to the advantages, the first advantage is to prevent the extinction of the species. Some of the species will become extinct due to environmental or reproductive issues. That means low reproductive rate may also lead them to get extinguished. And also their survival rate due to the unfavorable environmental conditions. In that case also, by using animal cloning, you can again revive those animals. Right? If you have at least one egg cell or the somatic cell, you can go for the animal cloning to produce a progeny. Right? So like that you can avoid or prevent the extinction of certain species. And the second advantage is only single parent or the single gender is required to produce the progeny. So already we have discussed in the dolly where only the female sheep was used, right, where the egg cell is used and enucleated egg in which the somatic cell again taken from the female animal and introduced into the enucleated egg cell, and then it was again introduced into the surrogate mothers in order to produce the progeny. In the same way here, only the single parent is required to produce the progeny or the offspring. Right? And the next advantage is to create transgenic animals. So what do you mean by transgenic animal? The animal in which we are introducing the gene of interest so that it will have the superior qualities. So once you produce a transgenic animal, you need not go for that production of transgenic animals repeatedly for each and every generation. Right? If you are going for normal crossing the transgenic animals, there may be some superior genes and also the inferior genes which are inherited to the progeny. In that case, you may not get 100% of superior quality as that transgenic animal. So if you want an exact Xerox copy or the same genetic copy of the transgenic animal, then again you can go for your animal cloning technique, where by using this transgenic animal, you can produce the same genetic copy of progeny animals. Right? Then the next advantage is in case of gene therapy. If there is any genetic abnormalities, right? Or it may be due to numerical aberrations or the normal abnormalities, where it can be in the number or it can be in some fragment or segment of DNA, right? So here it can be the structural or the numerical aberrations which can be corrected. So because of those aberrations, there may be some syndromes or the diseases, right? You can correct those diseases by treating the genes. That is nothing but your gene therapy. Again, animal cloning plays important role in gene therapy. You need not go for the gene therapy for each and every individual, right? Of every generation. Once you go for the gene therapy, if you are going to clone that animal, the same treated genes will be inherited to the next generations. Next advantage is to clear the infertility problem. So infertility problem, if the animal is not able to conceive, then in that case the egg or the oocyte can be extracted and you can go for the animal cloning technique. The next advantage is to revive the endangered animals. Again, endangered animals, due to the environment or due to the low reproduction rate or some other circumstances, it may result in decreased number of animals which gradually extinct, right? Then gradually they get extinct from the environment. So in order to avoid that, again you can increase their rate of reproduction or increase the number of animals by animal cloning. Next advantage is balanced ecosystem, right? As we have studied the prey and predator relationship. If the prey is keep on increasing, what happens? The predator has to pick them up, so that there will be an balance in the food chain. If the predator is increasing, the prey will be disappeared. If the prey is increasing without any predator, the prey will become dominant in the environment. So here there should be some balance in the ecosystem, where all the animals must be present in their particular niche, right? So here it is also used for balancing the ecosystem. Next advantage is drug production. So here, instead of producing the chemical drugs, right, you can use animals as bioreactors. Already we have discussed, right? Animal bioreactors, where animal itself produce the certain particular useful drugs, right, or the medicine, such as the milk of the goat consists of medicinal properties, right? So it can be used as a drug. So you have many other vaccines, antibiotics and all, which can be obtained directly from these cloned animals. Next advantage is increased livestock. So here in a farm, if you want to increase the number of cattle, so what you do? If you go for the normal breeding process, the superior quality may not be inherited to the next generations. In that case, what you do? You want only the superior quality of the cattle to be present, right? So in that case, you go for the animal cloning, whose genetic makeup, all the livestock genetic makeup will be superior, right? Then in case of research, so if you are going for the research study, you are studying the genetic properties of particular animal, right? If it is a mice or rat, their lifespan is less, right? By the time you go for the complete the research, the animal may not be present or survive, right? So here what you do? You make a clone of same genetically identical animals, then start your research, so that you can complete the research without any variations. Next is the healthy animals. So here by animal cloning, you are going to correct all the genes in them and you are going to check the superior quality of them and then go for the animal cloning. So you need not make any antibiotics or give some antibiotics in order to make them disease resistant, or give growth hormones in order to increase the size of the animal and all, right? So here, if you are producing a healthy animal using animal cloning technique, then there is no need of any antibiotics, growth hormones or other chemicals to be injected into those animals. Next advantage is artificial artificial twinning. This is a separate branch. Why I am saying this? The artificial twinning is a process of embryo splitting. So here once you go for the production of the, so this is the egg, where to this egg cell you're enucleating the nucleus. So this is the egg cell taken from the female animal, and here the nucleus is removed. And again you are going to take some somatic cell, right? From the somatic cell, this is 1N nucleus. In the somatic cell you have 2N nucleus, right? So now this nucleus will be introduced into this egg cell. So now this is called as fertilized egg cell. So now this fertilized egg cell will gradually transform or develop into an embryo, which in turn will develop into a complete organism or the animal. So before this embryo is getting developed or getting differentiated into another type of cells, what you do? You go for the embryo splitting process. That means you split the embryo into two such that each embryo will again transform into full-fledged embryo, and it will result in the progeny, the offspring and the offspring. So now these two will be having the same genetic makeup because they are developed from the single embryo. This is embryo splitting process, where the embryo is split into two and allowed to develop into an individual embryos, but their genetic makeup is same. As a result, they will result or produce two animals, that is twins. Hence it is referred as artificial twinning by embryo splitting process, right? So these are the advantages of animal cloning. So let us discuss about the disadvantages. The first disadvantage is increased cost. The technique or the chemicals used or the experts who work on animal cloning, everything is very costly, right? And the second disadvantage is less effective. So here, though you complete the complete procedure of animal cloning or SCNT technique, what happens here, that may fail during the gestation period or soon after the animal birth, right? So it is less effective. Next, it is the limiting the genetic diversity. Here you are avoiding the normal or the natural reproduction process or the breeding process. So as a result, there will not be any variation in the genetic makeup. Whatever genes you are cloning, same thing are inherited to the next generations. So here the genetic diversity may be limited due to this animal cloning. Next is health problems. The cloned animals always will develop a poor quality of the internal organs such as liver, heart, kidneys and all, right? So here they may have certain health issues. Then it is the ethical concern. So here, according to ethical concern, no individual should experience the same, the genetic makeup and the physical appearance, right? So here this is completely banned in case of humans, right? Then in case of long lasting issues. So as I told you, because of the same genetic makeup or due to the poor development of the internal organs, there may be some long lasting issues which may be inherited to the next generations also. Next, it is risk of genetic abnormalities, right? So here during the gene therapy or correcting any abnormal genes or developing a transgenic animal, if there is any genetic abnormality which we have done any mistake, then that will be continued to the next generations also. The genetic abnormality may result in some other side effects. So here like this you have so many advantages and also the disadvantages process. So here apart from the sheep, cow and the buffalo, you have another successful animals where the animal cloning have been performed. That is cat, dog, deer, horse, rabbit, rat and ox. Is that clear? If you have any doubts in animal cloning topic or any other topics, please text me. and subscribe for further videos.